Alright, now we here. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing good. Drop a like and drop a sub and drop a like and drop a fucking like. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we about to be here for a little minute. This video, an hour long. You know what I mean? Jaaybo video, free Jaaybo, all that good shit. And yeah, I'm about to go ahead and just get into this. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna upload anything else today. I don't know. We'll see. But let's just get into this video, bro. We gonna be here.
Oftentimes, when rap careers are launched, their entire backstories are created by the label.
Send me some more videos like this and shit like that. Different kind of videos. Shout out 20. Send this to me on Instagram. So.
And in reality, the artists have done nothing that they rap about. However, in this video, you will see the complete opposite. Rappers who turn their deep childhood trauma into wild, maniacal lifestyles. So slimy that they'll smoke their own homies and then pretend that it was the rivals who did it. Then are so paranoid that they'll eliminate a woman just for thinking that she has some information. This video is full of evil characters and demonic spirits. And trust me, it will blow your mind. So welcome to Exposing EBK.
Oh yeah, he's finna. Oh, we about to. This finna be a good one, huh?
California's Central Valley, a region far from the Bay Area culture where low testosterone matcha drinkers who drive a Rivian believe that sending criminals to jail is racist. And far from the Bay Area where people sit there and cry in disbelief while their home gets burglarized. Oh my God, please stop! Nah, it's not gonna go down like that in the Central Valley. This is a whole different side of California that people really don't know about. A side that you could call the Texas of California. And that's not a compliment, because it's flat, it's hot, smells like cow shit, and it's trashy as trashy can be. I'm gonna be completely honest, the Central Valley sucks. Bad. Firstly, it's where people move because they have no taste and want a cheap McMansion, and that makes them feel rich, but they're not. Or they move there because it was their absolute last resort. As I like to say, the only thing in between paying Bay Area rent and being homeless is moving to the Central Valley. Now, for most of the region, aside from feeling icky and depressed, it's really not a bad place to live, as far as danger. However, there is one major exception, moving to the city of Stockton. Now this is a different type of place. It's the absolute last resort city for Northern California hoodlums. Historically, if things get bad for you, you move to Oakland, and then if things get worse, you move to Sacramento, Antioch, or Vallejo. But then, if you're horrendously down bad, you give up on life altogether and you move to Stockton. Now why is it so undesirable? It might be hard to explain, but let me do my best. Imagine you take 30,000 war refugees from Cambodia, 30,000 East Oakland families, 20,000 foster kids, 100,000 Norteño-affiliated cholos, 50,000 Central Americans, and 50,000 white trash, possibly drug-addicted
I got a few twins from over there on that side of town too. Y'all let me know if everything is facts.
Occasions, and then you scrambled them all up and threw them down into a city. Welcome to Stockton. With this landscape of residents, there is a whole lot of despair and randomness. Gangs that are more diverse than the airport, with members who have more bodies than dollars in their bank account. Where a dude wearing a ketchup-stained white tee and a backwoods backpack will smoke you for accidentally stepping on his Mexican Jordans. You may think that I'm exaggerating, but anyone who's lived there can tell you that I am not lying. Stockton is a gritty place, truly the dumpster of California. Where a lack of opportunity and common sense leads to all kinds of grimy lifestyles. This is the city of California's neglected and forgotten children, many of which grow up to be the most vicious gangsters and killers you've ever seen, but also on the flip side leading to some immense talent and creativity. You mix that together and in this video you will see talented hood millionaires who will throw their life away to eliminate men and even women. So I hope you now know what we're dealing with, but before we get into it, let me run the intro. We began in the year 2015, specifically on the south side of Stockton. And if you're unfamiliar, this has long been the worst part of the city. However, at this time, despite the south having multiple hoods and gangs, everyone is pretty much together as one. It's all just considered as South Stockton. But still, I need to explain the sections. As we go west to east, we begin with the Conway Projects, who together are the Conway Gangster Crips. They're completely on their own as they're cut off by the 5 freeway, but still, they're technically a part of South Stockton. Then as we move across the freeway, we have the Asian Crips, which mostly consists of Filipino but also Cambodian members. Wait, I'm not doing this enough justice. Let me bring some energy. Across the freeway, we have the Asian Crips, which make up mostly Filipino and Cambodian membership. Now these dudes, back in 2015, are less into catching hats and drilling and more more into money-making schemes. I'm talking extorting the government, intricate robbery schemes, scams, illicit casinos, distributing firearms, substances, you get the point. These dudes are just straight-up grimy go-getters. In the morning, they'll serve you banh mi, and by nighttime, they'll have all of your credit card information. But when they're not up to all that, you can catch them outside posted up at the Matahero Park or the Superstar Market, saying the N-word more times than you can possibly imagine. Then across the train tracks, you have the Flyboys Crips.
Nah, these edits is crazy.
We're also known as the Mob. And, I don't know, there's really nothing to say about them. Then next to them, you have the APs, who are also Crips and sometimes go by the Ruger Boys. Well, as you can tell, all of these hoods in South Stockton are Crips. But let me tell you that doesn't mean anything. You see, in Stockton, the blood and Crip thing doesn't really have any significance. It doesn't mean you beef with Bloods or there's no history behind it. It's just something to wear a rag and sound cool, but nobody really cares. And if you don't believe me, that takes us to the very last hood in South Stockton. Welcome to the deepest end of the Southeast, known as Nightingale. Now, Nightingale is mostly Bloods, in fact, the only Bloods in South Stockton. However, it's also Crips, who post up together with the Bloods on the 2100 block of Nightingale Avenue. Now, how exactly does this make sense? Well, like I said before, in Stockton, Blood and Crip means absolutely nothing. The only thing that matters is there's no fades, there's no DPs, this ain't LA. This is Stockton, where the only thing that matters is using that gun. So yeah, this is how Crips and Bloods be banging the same shit. And for Nightingale, they were represented by a Crip rapper. That introduces us to a Nightingale OG by the name of James Gorman, also known as Rari. Now, Rari bleeds Nightingale through and through, and as you can see on his Facebook page, he is constantly posting about his hood. But not only is he a Nightingale Crip and a rapper, but he's most importantly a father. This dude Rari is like the original NBA YoungBoy. He got hella kids by hella women. You know, typical dysfunctional hood shit. But thankfully for Rari, he's definitely a good dude and he decided to take care of all of these kids, biological or not. So by many accounts, this dude played somewhat of a fatherly role for the entire South Stockton. But let me specify that Rari has one kid that's very, very special to him. This would be his 12-year-old son, Jaymani Gorman, who he knows is a very special talent. He's overweight, he sucks at football, he's built like a beanbag, so it's not that. Instead, he knows that his son is charismatic, funny, and musically inclined. The perfect combination for a successful artist. You see, Rari knew this, and for this reason, he safeguarded Jaymani for his earliest years, like, please stay away from the streets. This meant having him stay at his mom's house away from the hood in an area called Crow Valley. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is also the hood. It's less hood, but it's just a bunch of Norteños. So either way, raising Jaymani in Stockton was gonna lead to the streets. Like, to be honest, it's almost unavoidable, because there's bad influences literally everywhere. So between hanging at his dad's house in Nightingale and his mom's Norteño-infested neighborhood, a young Jaymani geared toward the streets. So like many 12-year-olds in the hood, Jaymani goes out and he begins to hang with the wrong crowd. You see, at this point, Jaymani is very mature for his age. Or very immature for his age, depending on how you look at it. This is simply because he grew up around his older cousins, brothers, uncles, dad, who were in the streets, and that definitely influenced him. Like, shit, I want to do grown shit too. So given this mentality, he begins to hang with some older teens from North Stockton, specifically 16 and 17-year-old members of the 44 West Lane Gangster Crips. Of course, these dudes are slimy and dangerous. And that takes us to January 4th, 2015. It's a Sunday afternoon in North Stockton, and a young Jaymani is hanging at the park with Teddy and Lester, two members of the 44 West Lane Crips. Now, exactly what they're doing, we don't officially know, but what we do know is this. At some point, the two older teens gang up on Jaymani and take all of his belongings, including his shoes, his phone, everything.
Give me that.
A truly sad circumstance for a 12-year-old as he's stranded with no phone or shoes, completely on the other side of town. Somehow though, he's able to make it to his dad's house at night.
They took all that.
Home late, barefoot.
They took all that though, damn. I thought it was just, I thought they like, damn, that was a crazy pose. I ain't gonna lie to you. Get that off the screen. But I thought it was just like they took his bike or some shit. I didn't know that it was all that.
Stranded with no phone or shoes, completely on the other side of town.
It was all that. I thought they took his bike or some shit.
Somehow, though, he's able to make it to his dad's house at night. Home late, barefoot, phoneless, his pops is definitely concerned. Like, bro, what happened? So this is when he tells his pops, 2 dudes from up north robbed me.
Damn.
Oh, hell nah. As any father would be, James is pissed. And as a street dude, he decides to take things into his own hands. The next day, January 5th, 2015. It's now the afternoon, and Rory is heading up to North Stockton in his Porsche looking for the teens who robbed his son. Specifically, he heads right to their hood, which is known as the townhomes. At 1 p.m., he arrives on their block, rolls his window down, and starts pressing the line about his son.
Like, which one of y'all robbed my son? I need his stuff back now.
Now, the dudes posted up outside are straight up confused, and you'll see why. Like, who robbed what? Bro, ain't nobody robbed nothing. What are you talking about? Of course, on Rory's end, he feels like they're gaslighting him. Like, bro, are you serious? This is when the confrontation gets ugly. Sadly, the dudes air out his car. This is the ultimate tragedy, not only for South Stockton, but definitely for young Jaymani. Your father goes out to play hero for you, and then you get the news that he's gone. I can't even imagine the pain, especially for a 12-year-old. But what if I told you that the pain also may be more than just the loss itself? What do you mean by that? So let me explain. After conversations and interrogations, police were told that Jaymani was robbed by Teddy and Lester. And of course, that's what got Rory to drive up there and try to confront them. Now, Teddy and Lester were not the ones who killed Rory, but police still brought them in to, of course, question them.
So you robbed the young Jaymani, wasn't it?
Man, hell nah. This is when Teddy and Lester tell a completely different story. They tell police that in essence, they kind of did rob him, but it didn't go down like that. In fact, what they tell them is that Jaymani jumped in their dice game, lost, and then didn't have any money to cover his loss. So to mend this, they were like, hey bruh, give us your phone, give us your shoes, and go on about your way. Now to this day, I have no idea whether this story is the truth or not. And to be honest, Teddy, Lester, and Jaymani are the only people that could really tell you. But in the event that their story is true, this means that Jaymani went home and lied to his dad.
I actually love playing dice, though. I ain't gonna lie. That really don't got nothing to do with nothing. But playing dice is actually fun as shit. I don't know. Playing dice is fun.
He was embarrassed and scared to say that he lost his shoes because he jumped in a dice game. So to cover his own ass, he told his dad, they robbed me. Now remember that he's only 12 years old, and we all would have done the exact same thing. But either way, if this is how it happened, then he basically set his pops on a dummy mission for no reason, based on a simple lie. And that type of weight on your shoulders is something that no human can bear. Like, damn, am I the reason that my father... Just terrible all around.
Right, and this whole tragedy came from, was it 2 teams? They were messing with you or some shit?
Nah, that don't have nothing to do with me. I was only 11, bro. You feel me? But I don't know nothing about that. You feel me? Because that's a case. So, you feel me? I don't talk about shit like that.
Right. Yeah, my bad. I think it was on a few documentaries about it, or.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You feel me? RP Pops though. You feel me? But nah, I didn't get robbed or nothing ever happened to me. You feel me? I was just young. I was 11. You feel me? Lost my pops, and that's that.
This would completely derail his young life. No more football, no more trying in school, just pure anger and taking it out on the streets. With all this pain on his chest, he began robbing, carjacking, bipping, fighting, and even catching a... Wait, let me slow down. We'll get there in a minute. For now, let's focus on the death of Rory and the impacts that it had on the politics in Stockton. Basically, the loss created a brand new beef, the 44 West Lane Crips versus Nightingale. You smoked our main OG? It's up. Now, as far as who slid for Rory, it's an open case.
Let me see what I can say.
Allegedly, and maybe not factually, but a 12-year-old Jaymani would get revenge of his own. Let's just say that an unknown rival from up north would get plastered in the backseat of his friend's car. Allegedly, a short masked suspect would run up on the car, and if you don't believe me, just know I got the information. from. Anyways, let's continue. Like I said, Jaymani's life was completely derailed, just full-fledged demon in the streets. High-speed chases, armed robberies, never going to school.
What kind of were you getting into that had you going to juvenile hall that young?
I was like, when I first like hopped in the field, I was into stealing cars. I ain't gonna lie. But like when I first started, like I was really into taking cars. Like that just was hella cool to me. I don't know. I instantly went to school, bro. Pulled up to
With the
school.
Slo-Be.
Yeah, the bitch is like, yeah, what's up? This me. I told you should have. You feel me? Choose up to move up. You feel me?
This resulted in constantly getting arrested and going back and forth to juvenile hall. He truly had no guidance, except for his older half-brother named Malik Lot, also known as Osama. Now, despite being in the streets, Osama was actually a good influence. Firstly, because he really cared about his little brother and didn't want to see him die or crash out. But secondly, because he knew that he had a real talent.
Lil' bro, you can rap. You do not need to be in the street shit. Get in the studio.
At this time, Osama was trying to make his own rap career, but knew that his little brother was way more talented. Jaymani would eventually listen to him and began rapping. But for the meantime, we have to focus on Stockton politics. As I mentioned in the beginning, Stockton is a city full of ex-Bay Area hoodlums, and specifically one of these families is the Moore family, a product of Deep East Oakland. Now the Moore family, with all due respect, is as trenchy can get. I'm talking case gang 400 certified, but eventually it was time to get out of there. So at some point in the early 2010s, the family moved out to South Stockton, and they did this with their 3 sons, the eldest being Kevin, also known as Mabale, then Hari B, and then Jalik, also known as Young Jock, a dude named Jalik. Anyways, well, now that the family was planted in South Stockton, they started to mingle with the locals and some distant cousins as well. One of those cousins actually being Jaymani himself. Regardless, we begin with the oldest brother Mabale, who became best friends with a Nightingale blood member named young Slo-Be. And because of this friendship, Mabale himself became kind of a Nightingale member. Because remember, in Stockton, gang membership is more so like you're over there hanging with them, you're kind of a part of them too. Now, from all accounts, Mabale and Slo-Be were more so the player type, like E1 Foe, Figueroa, you get the point. They weren't out there catching hats or beefing, but regardless, it is Stockton and anything can happen to anyone. That takes us to June 27th, 2016. It's a late Friday night in West Stockton, and the Lewis Park Bloods are outside shooting dice. And given the alliance with the Lewis Park Bloods and Nightingale, Mabale is out there like he's from there too. Well, it's a fiery night with dice games and a whole lot of talking smack. And this is when Mabale and a Lewis Park member named Eugene get into a serious argument. Over what exactly? Well, there's one Dutch pack left and they're arguing over whose it is.
This my shit, bruh. I bought it.
Nah, bruh.
These niggas got into it over a fucking roll-up? Nah, bro. Over a roll-up game? Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
A whole lot of talking smack, and this is when Mabale and a Lewis Park member named Eugene get into a serious argument. Over what exactly? Well, there's one Dutch pack left, and they're arguing over whose it is.
This my shit, bruh. I bought it.
Nah, bruh. This shit mine.
This is when out of nowhere, Eugene gets heated and whips out. Bam! He lets off 18 shots.
18?
Sadly, when police arrived, Mabale...
That nigga's... Damn! Over a pack of blunts? Probably one or two... Damn! What the fuck?
over whose it is.
This my shit, bruh. I bought it.
Nah, bruh. This shit mine.
This is when out of nowhere, Eugene gets heated and whips out. Bam! He lets off 18 shots. Sadly, when police arrived, Mabale was DOA. This would be yet another senseless loss for Nightingale, losing a member and friend over a Dutch pack done by a hood that you're actually cool with. The loss was severe for both his best friend Slo-Be and of course his younger brothers Hari and Jock. And for all of them, obviously, the Lewis Park Bloods were now ops. You smoked our guy over nothing? Yeah, it's up.
That shit is over nothing though, over some bullshit.
Having brand new ops is never a good thing, especially when your main ops are still very active. And that fast forwards us just a couple of weeks. After the loss of Rari, other than close family, there was one person that it devastated more than any other. This would be Rari's best friend in the world, a man by the name of Roy Padilla, also known as Casino. You see, Casino's not a Nightingale Crip or a Nightingale Blood. Instead, he's just a North Day from Stockton. Okay, technically he's a North Day from Nightingale, but they don't have their own set. So you get what I'm trying to say. So he and Rari being from the same hood made them really close friends and eventually made them family. Like really, really family, to the point where Jaymani called him his uncle his whole childhood. Well, obviously, despite not being involved with Rari's politics, the loss would devastate him and he'd jump in the field. So eventually, word would get around the streets of Stockton that a dude named Casino was sliding on the North. And when the North would figure this out, bad news. And that takes us to July 9th, 2016. It's a late Saturday night, and Casino is headed to North Stockton to link with a woman. Yeah, let's be politically correct and say a woman. So Casino heads up north to link with them, thinking that the ops don't really know who I am, and it's late, so they probably can't see me. Well, at 1:20 a.m., he arrives at his destination, the 4400 block of Cotton Court. When he arrives, he notices that it's a dead-end cul-de-sac, so he parks down the street and he begins to walk to the apartment. Long story short, he goes into the apartment and 35 minutes later, he begins to leave. At 1:55, he walks to his car, not knowing that there's a man behind him following. The masked man quietly gets up behind him and bang!
Damn.
The loss devastated his 3 children and also all of his extended family. Casino was a very important character in Jaymani's life, like an uncle he could always depend on. So for him, losing his father and then his uncle back to back, I can't even imagine, especially because it all stemmed from him being robbed, or him making that up. All of this on your mind at just 13 years old? Truly devastating. However, through all the pain, tragedy, and violence, Nightingale still has some talent. It all begins with Jaymani's older brother Osama, who at this time has a vision that nobody else can see. Not only does he see talent in his little brother, but he also sees it in a bunch of people from Nightingale. So around the year 2017, he gets them all together and he pitches them an idea. Let's start a rap group called Everybody Killa, also known as EBK. Well, long story short, everyone eventually pitches into the idea and they all kick off their rap careers. This hits like an avalanche in Nightingale and pretty much everyone becomes a rapper. EBK Juvie Jew, EBK Trey B, EBK Jew Block Shada, like everybody. And as Osama predicted it would, the group instantly takes off. But believe it or not, EBK were not the only ones to blow up in South Stockton, as in this very same time, the Muddy Boys did too. Well, really just MB Nell, but this dude would go super viral, like even more than EBK. So in all, in 2017 and 2018, the south side of Stockton is absolutely on fire, and the best part about it is that they all get along. In fact, early on, you can see MB members in EBK videos and vice versa, and they even collaborated on a song. But of course, not only are they collaborating musically, but they're also stepping on the same ops. As EBK's fame grew, so did their beef with the North, cause you know, when you're poppin', you get a lot of haters. Pow, 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 pow. Just like that, some shots were fired back and forth, but thankfully nobody died. Either way, once shots are fired, there's no coming back from that, and a couple EBK members would definitely take this to heart. These would be the 2 young members, Brian Norman, also known as Sleazy B, and Charles Prince, also known as we don't actually know. But these dudes go on an absolute mission, and that takes us to May 1st, 2019. It's a nice afternoon in North Stockton, and the Northside members are posted up on their block of 700 March Lane. Typical block activities, hanging out and all, not knowing that 2 EBK members are on their way. 5:30 p.m. The 2 EBK members allegedly arrive to the scene in a tinted up Nissan, and boom, right there they spot all of the rivals outside. And without hesitation, they absolutely unleash. 3 people were hit, and sadly, a 34-year-old named Ronald Celestine would lose his life.
Damn. So they hit
This
3?
was a big deal in the city, not only because Ronald was known and well-liked, but also because it was the first time that EBK caught a hat. Previously, they were just a young rap group talking a whole bunch of shit, but they didn't really have the work to put behind it. However, now, they're officially knee-deep. The North is nothing to play with, and EBK know this, so while they're still grieving, they decide to strike again. 3 days later, May 4th, 2019. It's a late Saturday afternoon, and Ronald's friends and family are outside grieving his loss. A candlelight, a barbecue, and a whole...
3 days later, they said, yeah, they spent the candlelight, the barbecue, the fish fry, whatever the fuck they had, they spent that shit too. Shit.
Caught a hat. Previously, they were just a young rap group talking a whole bunch of shit, but they didn't really have the work to put behind it. However, now they're officially knee-deep. The North is nothing to play with, and EBK know this, so while they're still grieving, they decide to strike again. 3 days later, May 4th, 2019. It's a late Saturday afternoon, and Ronald's friends and family are outside grieving his loss. A candlelight, a barbecue, and a whole lot of hugs just steps away from where Ronald lost his life. But again, little do they know, the same EBK steppers are on their way for more. They heard about the candlelight on social media, and they're instantly on their way. 7:44 p.m. The members arrive to the scene in the same tinted-up Nissan. First, they examine the crowd, and that's when they notice the man that they're looking for. So quickly, they hop out, and they begin to blow in his direction. Bang! 4 people injured, and sadly, Ronald's first cousin, Benny Lott, would lose his life.
Damn.
Now, this tragedy would wake up Stockton police big time. Like one murder up north, that's kind of regular. But then when you spin again 3 days later at the candlelight and catch another body, something serious has to be up. So over the next couple of months, Stockton police would do a deep dive investigation to who could be behind this. And along this journey, they discover EBK and all of their diss songs.
Man, these dudes diss the North a lot.
They put some faces together, they dot some T's, and over the summer of 2019, they officially classify EBK as a street gang. They're certain that EBK was behind the 2 bodies back to back. They just don't yet know who exactly did it. Then, just a couple of months later, they'd figure it all out.
Tonight, 9 people are under arrest in Stockton, all in connection with the street gang crackdown. 2 of these 9 people were arrested in connection to the shooting death of Ronald Celestine back on May 1st. Celestine was shot and killed in the area of March Lane and Holiday Drive. Now, the other 7 were arrested on various charges ranging from felonies for miscellaneous warrants. The suspects range in age from 18 to 40. And according to the San Joaquin County DA's office, EBK stands for Everybody Killa and represents a gang policy of open warfare. Authorities say that there are about 20 active members in this particular gang.
9 members arrested for 2 murders, multiple shootings, gang activity, and a whole bunch of robberies. Damn, look at these EBK women. Who invited them to the cookout? Shit, it was probably Juvie Ju. Cause look at them teeth. He ain't got no options. Now officially on paper,
Why he frying shit? What the fuck? No.
Bunch of robberies. Damn, look at these EBK women. Who invited them to the cookout? Shit, it was probably Juvie Ju. Cause look at them teeth. He ain't got no options. Now officially on paper, the indictment took away 9 of the 20 total EBK members, but there's actually more than that. But thankfully, the indictment left out all of the important rappers, which means that the movement is still intact. The feds can't stop the movement, but this unity would not last long. Just as they're blowing up and making progress, there would be a major hiccup in the road. And that fast forwards us just a couple of months. Although they have some views on YouTube and they have some local popularity, they still don't really have any money. So what does this mean while they're still in the Northern California street activities?
This is what it looked like inside the store as thieves wearing hoodies, masks, and caps smashed glass cases and snatched jewelry.
As I stated, typical Northern California street activities. And while pursuing paper doing these kind of activities, a couple EBK members would go down for it. In particular, Jaaybo's brother Osama and Jock's brother Hari B would catch a case together. And here is where the controversy lies. While sitting in jail, Hari B tells his brother Jock that Osama snitched on him. These are not healthy allegations in a city like Stockton. So naturally, Jock tells everyone in EBK that Osama snitched on Hari. The rumor gets around and it makes its way to Jaaybo, who then asks his brother, "Yo, did you snitch on Hari?" Man, what? hell nah, he snitched on me. Basically, Osama says, it's the other way around. And just like that, the hood is divided. Jaaybo and his family take Osama's side, and Jock and his family, they take Hari's side. And if we're being honest, like 90% of the hood chooses Hari's side, cause if you said he snitched first, then he probably snitched first. Now for Jaaybo, and mind you, he's only 16, he doesn't really care. He's riding with his brother Osama no matter what. Now if we're being honest, this hood divide seems like it could be solved just with a simple conversation. Let's figure out who actually snitched and then kick them off the hood. But in typical Stockton fashion, they all get angry and are just like, fuck it, we're not cool with the other side. So here's how the sides play out. On one big side, you've got Jock, Trey B, Juvie Jew, Pay West, and a bunch of EBK members that aren't really relevant. Then on the other side, you've got Jaaybo, Osama, his sister brother Tootie, and then Mad Max. That's pretty much it. Then last but not least, you have young Slo-Be, who's pretty much the only one to stay neutral. Like, bruh, I'm pushing 30, I'm trying to get rich, I don't need to be dealing with this shit. But either way, everything around him is crumbling and the hood is completely split in half. And for Jock, he's kind of on the same page as Slo-Be. Look, bruh, I was never really fully in the streets anyway. Let's just get this rap money. So this is when he reaches out to upcoming Sacramento rappers Briss and Air It Out Donnie, and he invites them to Nightingale. From here, they collaborate, and boom, it's the greatest decision that Jock ever made. It's a movement that EBK Jaaybo is completely missing out on. Not only because the hood is divided, but also because he's in juvenile hall, per usual. So while Jock's side is getting real famous and making a whole lot of money, Jaaybo's just sitting in juvenile hall with really nothing going on. One side of the hood is thriving, and the other side got nothing going on. This leaves the 17-year-old Jaaybo in a very tricky situation. How are you gonna play it? And that fast forwards us to January of 2021, when Jaaybo is finally released from juvenile. Now what does he do? Does he swallow his pride and switch on his brother and just start riding the EBK wave? I mean, that's the easy thing to do. Hey Jock, let's get back together and let's get this money. But hell nah, that's not even in his blood. So instead, he tries to make his own movement. So once he's released, he decides to hit up an Oakland rapper who he was listening to when he was sitting down. This would be a San Leandro / Oakland rapper by the name of Cold Game, and if you're not familiar, this dude is smoke. Now why this is important? Well, Cold Game is a part of an East Oakland gang known as FE, also known as
Y'all put me on to bro before a few times. I feel like y'all played a couple songs. I heard bro name before for definitely.
2 letters or 200, and FE means fuck everybody, including everybody in Oakland. Basically, it's a renegade gang that went against the grain, against all the big, powerful Case Gang, Acorn, all the powerful groups who just terrorized Oakland. Now, why is Jaaybo clicking up with 2 letters and doing music with them so important? Well, 2 letters beefs with everyone in EBK Young Jock's family. Ah shit, so the Nightingale divide gets even deeper. But Jaaybo doesn't really care. In fact, he probably likes it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna click up with the people that your whole family beefs with. Not only do they link up in the streets, but more importantly, they link up in the studio. Jaaybo and Cold Game get in the studio and they drop bangers like Gravedigger and Pole Collector, where they're dissing all of their ops. And believe it or not, it gets even deeper, so stay with me. Now we must introduce a friend of Jaaybo's from Stockton. I now introduce you to a 17-year-old named Ayosua Satawa. And forgive me if I butchered that, I'm not Samoan. But this dude's family is originally from Oakland, but he completely grew up in Stockton. And for whatever reason, he took it upon himself to go to Oakland and to get put on to 2 letters. Why anyone would do this? I mean, he probably had a terrible childhood and had a lot of anger and wanted to take it out on something. So long story short, he gets put onto 2 letters by Big Play and he becomes Lil Play. And from all accounts, this dude is like a violence machine, terrorizing shit for people that he barely knows and not knowing why he's even doing it. 200 Lil Play is the definition of a crash out. And growing up in Stockton and being the same age as Jaaybo, they definitely knew each other growing up, but they weren't exactly close friends. However, when Jaaybo would link up with 2 letters, they got reconnected and they became brothers. Why exactly does this matter? Well, Lil Play is hated by Young Jock and his entire Oakland family. Why, you may be wondering? Well, that takes us back to February of 2020. First, I introduce you to a major serious op of 2 letters. This would be a notorious West Oakland figure by the name of Deontay Simmons, also known as Teddy. Notorious for what? Well, starting the Acorn Gas team, but also for catching a whole lot of hats. Well, long story short, Teddy is now out in Stockton getting money, doing whatever he does. And unfortunately, an anonymous 2-letter member out in Stockton would get word of this and would sadly decide to make a statement. Ooh, I'm about to earn some stripes. That takes us to February 22nd, 2020. It's a late Friday night and Teddy is in downtown Stockton allegedly doing some P activities.
Sock it to my pocket, man. Turn around and see what you turning down.
Little does he know, a rival in Stockton knows his whereabouts and wants to do something. It's now 1:30 in the morning, Teddy picks up a girl and he heads down Wilson Way headed for Highway 4. Little does he know, a gray Chevy Equinox is following him and is getting closer and closer. Then right before he gets to the Highway 4 exit, the car pulls onside him and rolls their window down.
We now know more about the man shot and killed in Stockton early this morning. He's been identified as 29-year-old Deontay Simmons. He was shot around 1:30 this morning near Wilson Way and Church Street. Now, Stockton police say Simmons and a 21-year-old woman were driving when someone shot at them, causing them to crash into a building. Both were hit by those bullets, and Simmons later died. The woman who was with him was taken to the hospital, but she is expected to be okay. No word yet on a motive or a suspect.
No word even still to this day. Now, of course, nobody's been arrested for this, and I have no idea who did this. But the streets do talk. Let's just say that one of the people that Jaaybo is now clicked up with allegedly did this. So now you can really get a glimpse at why Jock's side of Nightingale would not fuck with Jaaybo clicking up with 200. But believe it or not, from here, the divide only gets worse. After boosting his career from collaborating with Cold Game, Jaaybo would actually outgrow him and pretty much outgrow the entire Oakland music scene. So this is when he tells 200 Lil Play, hey bro, why don't you just join me in Nightingale and become EBK Lil Play? So despite having 2 letters tatted on his neck and putting in serious work for them, Lil Play is like,
yes, Daddy. I'll join EBK, please, please.
Lil Play changes from 200 Lil Play to EBK Lil Play, and he begins repping Nightingale. But basically what Jaaybo is doing is creating his own movement out of Nightingale. Like Jock and them got their movement, I'm about to have mine, and mine's gonna be bigger. Oh, and not to mention, the people on my side actually kill people. They don't just rap about it. As you would expect, this makes the hood divide even deeper. Like, these 2 sides actually hate each other. This is a disaster waiting to happen, because eventually somebody from Nightingale is gonna shoot somebody from Nightingale. But if this EBK split isn't already bad enough, there's even more division to come. This time with the whole south side of Stockton, who, remember, for a long time was all united. So here's what happens. First, EBK falls out with the Flyboy Crips. Now, why this happens, I don't really know, but there's diss songs back and forth, and they're definitely seriously beefing. I mean, you got Flyboy rappers like Marley Bees, Jay Black, and Boy Boy talking about they're gonna smoke a EBK member, and then EBK members doing the same threats in reverse. So publicly, a war is starting to brew in the south side of Stockton, and because of this, EBK decide to make a statement. Threaten us in songs and on social media? Watch what happens. February 21st, 2022. It's a Monday night in South Stockton, and Flyboys member David Carlos, also known as Cholo, is posted up at the Southside Market. Cholo is an OG Flyboy, so the tensions with EBK don't really worry him. He's gonna be on the same block that he's been for 20 years. Well, little does he know, EBK is not happy about the diss songs that his homies have been making, and they're spinning through South Stockton looking for a body. These would be 2 EBK members, one of them short and chubby and one of them tall and fat, both masked up looking to score. 9:31 p.m. As the 2 members are heading down Airport Way, they look over at the Southside Market, and right outside is Cholo posted up. Instantly, they both hop out, draw down, and empty their clips on Cholo.
Man is dead, another is injured after a shooting in Stockton. It happened around 7:30 last night near the Southside Market on South Airport Way. One victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital, but we're told they're expected to be okay. Police have not said anything, though, about a suspect or motive.
The loss of Cholo is very significant. One, because it marks the first time that EBK killed someone from the South Side, which is groundbreaking for Stockton politics. But also, and more importantly, it forced everyone on the South Side to choose a side. Now that there's bloodshed, there is no straddling the fence. You're either with the Flyboys or you're with EBK. And needless to say, which side do you think that everybody took? The Flyboys. Basically, because of the loss of Cholo, the entire South Side clicked up against EBK. And that includes their former allies, the Muddy Boy Asian Crips. So now EBK is really living up to their name. Everyone hates them. But somehow these constant beefs and everyone hating them is just not affecting them. They're not dying, and their music, it's going crazier than ever before. Like 2022 is truly EBK's year. I mean, other than Jaaybo, who's of course in jail, Slo-Be and Jock are going nuts. Specifically for Slo-Be, his hit song Do You Love Me Baby goes national, and everyone's like, who is this dude? He is hard.
And what the fuck is that haircut? Bro, fire your barber, dog.
But anyways, Slo-Be is starting to blow up. However, the checks aren't quite coming in yet. But because things are on the up and up, in the summer of 2022, he's in talks with Thizzler about getting a spot in LA. However, in the meantime, he's staying with his baby mama just about 25 minutes away from Stockton. Although he's not that far away, he is in a tucked off suburb and really nobody knows where he lives. Nobody meaning his ops don't know, but his homies, they definitely know. And that takes us to August 4th, 2022. It's a Thursday night in Stockton, and the EBK members are hanging out doing what they do. Shooting dice, slapping music, getting loaded, and talking shit. Now here is where the rumors come into play. From many accounts, a dice game turns ugly and forms into a bad argument. An argument between Slo-Be and a close friend / EBK member. I'm not gonna exactly say who, but they are, allegedly, in this picture. Well, long story short, the argument gets so ugly that the two have to go their separate ways. So Slo-Be heads to his baby mama's crib just 25 minutes south in the small city of Manteca. If you're unfamiliar, Manteca is really just a middle-class suburb that's tucked off that you can really fly under the radar. So smartly, this is where Slo-Be has been staying. Hours go by, and while Slo-Be is sleeping, he has no idea that his location is being given up to the rivals. By who? You can come to your own conclusions, but somebody who knows his baby mama's exact unit. 8:15 in the morning. Slo-Be gets up early for a video shoot, and he heads out of the door. Because he's out of the way, he's not paying attention to his surroundings, and he walks outside looking down. Little does he know, a masked man is approaching him, and before he can even react, the man unleashes. After letting off a multitude of shots, the man hops in a black Mercedes and speeds.
Peter, bro, that's crazy. Wow.
8:15 in the morning. Slo-Be gets up early for a video shoot, and he heads out of the door. Because he's out of the way, he's not paying attention to his surroundings, and he walks outside looking down. Little does he know, a masked man is approaching him, and before he can even react, the man unleashes. After letting off a multitude of shots, the man hops in a black Mercedes and speeds away.
In what would be his last post on his verified Instagram profile, rapper Young Slo-Be is seen visiting a Stockton business where his sweatshirts and t-shirts were sold. Fans saying Young Slo-Be often connected with them around town.
He was super humble to the whole community. That's why a lot of people liked him. A lot of people liked him because like his music, and he was super humble. Like he never tried to act like he was like better than anybody.
Happy to sign autographs and talk with people who loved his music.
Slo was real talented, you know what I'm saying? Real good dude.
Lauren Edwards, who identified himself as a cousin of Young Slo-Be, says the artist will be deeply missed in the community.
Promoting prosper, you know what I'm saying? Being independent, self-sufficient, you know, driven by by, the struggle.
In a statement, Fizzler on the Roof, the Oakland-based media company that promoted young Slo-Be's work, said in part, "We had high hopes for young Slo-Be's career and looked forward to doing more great work together. This senseless act of violence has taken a man from his family and leaves a huge void in the West Coast music community. We will miss him dearly."
When the news first broke, nobody could believe it, including me. Like him, of all people, the one who's mature and smart enough to stay out of the way. But when the reality kicks in, the entire West Coast rap community is crushed. Like, this dude was really gonna make it. Specifically, Jaaybo knew this too, and despite the EBK split and Slo-Be kind of being on the other side, Slo-Be was the only person that Jaaybo kept cordial with.
I mean, bro, you feel me? I love that, bro. Had our differences and shit, you feel me? On some kid shit. But just finna put our differences to the side. So, bro, Slo-Be was a big, you feel me, part of that plan. He gone now, though. But just gonna keep it lit. Niggas gonna push this Slo-Be mode shit, bro. You feel me? And niggas know tornadoes coming for that, period. There ain't really nothing else to say about it.
While sitting in jail, Jaaybo is absolutely crushed by the news. Like, damn, our respected OG rapper gone to an op just like that? But once the grieving period is over, the real questions begin to arise. Who did this, and how do they know exactly where his baby mama lives? Did she give up the drop? Nah, they were on good terms, and she didn't have no reason to do that. So who did this, and how the fuck did this happen? At first, there are no answers. Only the shooter and the person who gave up the drop know the truth. But regardless of whether an EBK member gave up the drop or not, what we do know is that a rival is the one who actually did it. So after a few days of grieving, for EBK, it became time to get in the field. 10 days later, August 14th, 2022. It's a Sunday night in Stockton, and a prominent Flyboys member named FAD is posted up at the Southside Market, the same exact market where Cholo got faced. But despite this, and the fact that his home Southside Market, the same exact
market, bro. I had to replay it because I'm like, did he say the same? What the fuck is they posted up there for? Do they sell drugs over there? What are they doing here? Why y'all niggas keep sitting at this market?
Market where Cholo got faced. But despite this, and the fact that his homie smoked Slo-Be just 10 days ago, FAD doesn't care, and he's outside like nothing even happened. He's pushing 30, and he's been on this block his entire life. Nothing is gonna scare him away. But little does he know, Jaaybo's right-hand man, EBK Lil Sleaze, is on his way, and he's looking to make a splash. So believe it or not, Lil Sleaze is creeping on foot by himself. At 9:45, he approaches the market, and right there he sees FAD posted up, looking down at his phone. Instantly, he sees this as the perfect opportunity as he sprints towards FAD, and bam!
Damn.
Tragically, FAD would be deceased at the scene. Get back for Slo-Be just 10 days after his death, and for the Flyboys, 2 straight losses at the Southside Market. And if you think that EBK is done after this, nah, they're just getting started. And that fast forwards us 6 months later, March 4th, 2023. It's a late Saturday afternoon in Stockton, and Flyboys rapper Jay Black is posted up at the Southside Market, the same exact spot where FAD and Cholo lost their lives, but Jay Black simply doesn't care.
Come on, bro. At this point, it's just like they just going to the market, just waiting for the ops to pull up at this point. But at this point, they just like, yeah, I know they gonna spin this bitch sooner or later, so I'm gonna just be here. Cause
FAD would be deceased at the scene. Get back for Slo-Be just 10 days after his death, and for the Flyboys, 2 straight losses at the Southside Market. And if you think that EBK is done after this, nah, they're just getting started. And that fast forwards us 6 months later, March 4th, 2023.
It's 6 months later.
It's a late Saturday afternoon in Stockton, and Flyboys rapper Jay Black is posted up at the Southside Market, the same exact spot where FAD and Cholo lost their lives, but Jay Black simply doesn't care. I'm over 30 years old, this is my hood, nobody's gonna keep me off my block. Well, little does he know, a couple EBK members are spinning blocks looking for a victim. Allegedly, EBK Lil Play in the passenger seat and EBK Drop Ski in the driver's seat, just spinning through the Southside looking for anyone posted up. 6:55 p.m. As soon as they arrive near the Southside Market, they instantly spot Jay Black posted up. Right away, the antsy Lil Play hops out and runs down the block. And before Jay Black can even react, he begins to blow down the store.
On Saturday night, police say 24-year-old Andrea Jones and 29-year-old Jacob Haywood Thomas were killed. The shooting happened near South Airport Way and 8th Street.
This was a huge deal in Stockton. I can't stress that enough. In Stockton, Jay Black was a well-known figure, so for him to go out at his hood store, well, to make matters worse, instantly the entire EBK begins clowning him. I'm talking about diss song after diss song, a bunch of Instagram clowning. You'd think that EBK just hit the lottery or something. They were celebrating like crazy. And because of all these disses and all the trolling, everyone instantly assumes EBK did this. And, that fast forwards us a couple of weeks. Jaaybo's released from jail and he's right back home. And right away, he's instantly viral. Not for his music or anything, but because he looks like a beanbag. But regardless of his obesity, he comes home dropping banger after banger. Millions and millions of views. And strangely, instead of collaborating with the typical EBK members, he only collaborates with one in particular. And this is where things get kind of interesting. He drops a whole bunch of songs with EBK Lil Play and promotes him over and over. And to be honest, it really works, cause Lil Play can rap, he's got the demon look, and, well, he's not the ugliest dude.
Like, I wouldn't want him around my girl, that's for sure.
Anyways, Lil Play and Jaaybo become the new EBK superstar duo, and they even get the same face tats. Now, usually you'd think that I want my shooter to be hidden. I don't want him to be famous or anything. My shooter is going to be on the low. But clearly, Jaaybo is not worried about this, and neither is Lil Play, because he knows that he did a clean job on the skit. No fingerprints, no faces, no phones, just a clean getaway. And FYI, in the state of California, lyrics cannot be used in court, so whatever they said in them songs, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, pretty much to everyone in the circle, the murder of Jay Black was never gonna get solved. Then Lil Play makes a tragic mistake. And that introduces us to a young woman by the name of Marina Rogers. Up north in the state of Washington, you think it's all peaches and rainbows. But in reality, there's a whole underworld up there with violent gangs and a whole lot of, how do I say this? Women who stand outside and get inside of people's cars. And unfortunately, this beautiful young lady named Marina Rogers would fall into this lifestyle like many of her peers. But up in Seattle, Tacoma region, it is very, very common. And for that reason, EBK are always going up there, almost like it's their second home. Well, one of the times when they're up there maneuvering, Marina Rogers would meet EBK Lil Play. Instantly, they'd hit it off. So for months and months, Lil Play and Marina are smoochy. So much so that Lil Play decides to tell her all of his secret information.
What?
But most importantly, he tells her about the murder of Jay Black.
For what?
And according to a friend of Marina, he tells her every single detail. Well, fast forward a few weeks and the couple breaks up in a very toxic way. Then,
Like, why do niggas do shit like that, dude? Like, why would you need to tell your girl, like, that you killed the nigga? Like, why? What the fuck is she supposed to do with that information? Like, what is her knowing that you cooked the nigga for real? Like, what is, you know?
But most importantly, he tells her about the murder of Jay Black. And according to a friend of Marina, he tells her every single detail. Well, fast forward a few weeks and the couple breaks up in a very toxic way. Then, mysteriously, just a couple weeks after the breakup,
suspect in connection with a deadly shooting connection with the deaths of Andrea Jones and Jacob Haywood Thomas. Two others, 18-year-old Io Sawaya Satwa and 16-year-old boy, were already arrested in connection with the murders.
Ooh-wee, out of nowhere, Lil Play and his two associates go down for the double murder. Now remember, I'm not saying that Marina snitched, but everyone around the situation says it like it's a fact. They say that she was salty, that he did her dirty and cut her off, and that this was her revenge. Ooh-wee. Now obviously Lil Play is fucked, but remember, he's a part of a street gang, which means that everyone around him can also be implied. So obviously this is bad news for EBK. And because of all the information that Marina may know, she is a threat to all of their freedoms. Cause like, what if she was told that Lil Play got paid to do it and then testifies that in court? Bad, bad news. And that fast forwards us to December 5th, 2023. Morena's out in Vegas living the life she lives. During the day, a medical assistant, and at night, you know. Well, this is when she's contacted by an old friend / associate. Hey girl. This would be a fellow PNW native / 304 by the name of Sakari Harnden. Sakari, being a few years younger than Morena, used to be under her wing, and some say that Morena put her in the game. So while they might not be friends, they at least know each other very well. This is important, because Sakari contacts her and says, hey, I got a mission for both of us.
We about to get some money.
Hey, this basketball player from the G League is trying to pay us. Let's do it.
So Morena's like, okay, sounds good, I'm fucking with it. But little does she know, it's all a setup. This G League player is not a customer. In fact, he's there to do something else. December 5th, 2023. Stockton Kings player Chance Comanche arrives in Vegas for a game at 7 p.m. The team checks into the M Resort, they play a game against the Vegas Ignite, and at 11 p.m. they return to the hotel. Now, after dropping 14 points and getting 16 rebounds, you think the Chance would just want to lay down and chill. You know, watch your highlights and be like, yo, somebody from the NBA is definitely about to pick me up.
Ford goes by Cole, throws it up top. And a throw down by Chance Comanche out of Arizona.
You just can't really have. And it turns into a basket.
And Chance Comanche.
At 6'11" with long arms, hops, and an amazing ability to block shots and rebound, he's definitely on his way to the league. But on this night, Chance is not thinking about basketball. Instead, simply murder. And at midnight, Sakari arrives to his hotel in her gray Mercedes. This is when Chance takes the elevator downstairs, walks outside, and hops in her car. First, they head to the liquor store where they buy some bottles and an iPhone charging cord. Then at 1:21 in the morning, Sakari texts Morena and tells her, I got the G League player, I'm on my way to your crib. At 2:18, they arrive outside her apartment in Henderson, and this is when Chance hops out and hops in the back seat. Then as they wait for Morena to come out to the car, they both decide to shut their phones off. At 2:20, Morena walks outside, hops in the passenger seat, and they take off. Now, if you know anything about Henderson, you know it's at the edge of the desert, like one exit and you're miles and miles and miles of straight desert. And this is where Sakari begins driving, straight down Dutchman Pass Road. At this point, Morena starts to get confused, like, where the hell are we going? Sadly, this is when from behind her, Chance whips out the iPhone charging cord and wraps it around her neck. Now, I won't get graphic, but sadly, she does not survive the encounter.
Damn, with an iPhone? The cord, though? Nah, that's crazy.
After doing this, Chance tells Sakari to drive off into the desert to find a spot where, you know. So tragically, he dumps off her body and they head back to the M Resort. This is where at 3:35 in the morning, they turn back on their phones. Then here, they allegedly start drinking liquor. We fast forward 5 hours later, and now it's time for Chance to check out and for his team to fly back to Stockton. So he packs his bags and gets ready to leave like nothing ever happened.
That's crazy. Like, imagine playing on the team with a nigga and y'all just on the team bus like, yeah, Twin, what you did last night? Yeah, you know, I just went back to the room, I was sleeping, all types, and you don't even know whole time this nigga done strangled this. You know what I'm saying? Like, whole time this nigga done strangled the bitch. Damn.
But here's the problem. Sakari is absolutely uncontrollable, crying and throwing a fit, absolutely traumatized by what just happened. Chance tries to calm her down, but she simply will not stop crying. Well, then comes 11 a.m. and they have no choice but to leave the hotel. So Chance walks her to her car as she cries and weeps constantly, walking through the hallways and through the lobby. Well, he gets her to her Mercedes, she goes home, and then he hops on the team bus and heads back to Stockton. Over the coming days, Chance goes about his life and his career like nothing even happened. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Sakari is an absolute wreck, crying and panicking throughout the day and night. No sleep, just pure... fuck, I don't know. She is struggling to live with what went down, and 2 days later, she makes an emotional decision. She decides to call 911, not to confess or anything, but to report Morena is missing. And according to the transcripts, the whole time she's bawling out crying, and the police are like, hey, calm down, what's going on? So this is when Morena's officially a missing person, and police go looking for her body.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office received a call from Metro Police in Las Vegas asking for our assistance in attempting to locate a missing individual. That individual was missing from the Las Vegas area. The subject was believed to be in the area of Wallace Canyon and Wheeler Pass Road.
5 days after Sakari's call, police discover Morena's body and they decide that it's a homicide. Now, a missing body in the desert is not something that's easy to solve, so they look into the only thing they could possibly look into, and that would, of course, be the person who reported her missing. As you would expect, right away they track her phone number, the people she's been around, her whereabouts, her car license plate, and pretty easy to solve.
A former NBA player and his girlfriend accused of murder, and it's a story the 8 News Now investigators first broke. Vanessa Murphy is here with the latest on the investigation.
This is the day after Las Vegas Metro Police say Chance Comanche and his girlfriend Sakari Harnden kidnapped and murdered a woman in Las Vegas. Now the 27-year-old former NBA player and G League Sacramento Stockton Kings player and 19-year-old Harnden face murder and kidnapping charges. Police say they found the remains of 23-year-old Morena Rogers in a desert area in Henderson, just outside of Las Vegas. She was a medical assistant visiting with friends from Washington State. While the investigation continues, here's what we've learned so far from both police and Rogers' loved ones. December 5th, police say Rogers was out with friends but had already planned to meet Harnden, her so-called friend. Harnden brought Comanche. Earlier that same day, Comanche had played at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. The 6th, the last known time Rogers is seen. The 7th, she's reported missing. Detectives suspected foul play and say they found evidence linking the pair to Rogers' disappearance. The 13th, Harnden is taken into custody for kidnapping. Las Vegas Justice Court Judge Diana Sullivan sets her bail at $500,000. The 15th, Comanche is taken into custody in Sacramento County, California, by a local FBI apprehension team. The Stockton Kings announce his release. On Monday, an attorney for Rogers' family sent the 8 News Now investigators this statement. We held on to hope for Morena's safe return and are devastated that she will never come home. Morena was kind and compassionate with aspirations for her future. We are grateful to the law enforcement agencies who have worked together over the last 2 weeks to seek answers and continue to seek justice for Morena and our family. We request privacy as we grieve this tragic and senseless loss.
Comanche is expected to be extradited from California to Nevada. Harnden remains at the Clark County Detention Center in downtown Las Vegas.
Wow, wow, wow. Shocking national news. NBA G League player and his girlfriend kill a young woman while she's visiting Las Vegas. Just random, devastating, and odd. But why the hell did they do this? So of course, police questioned both of them. Now, I want you to guess which one of them stays solid and which one of them tells them everything. Of course, Sakari cries to the police and tells them exactly why they did this. She tells investigators that it has everything to do with a rapper named EBK Lil Play. Basically, that Lil Play allegedly committed a murder, and then his girlfriend Morena went sour on him and went to the police and snitched. Basically, she alludes to the idea that somebody wanted her gone to prevent her from snitching in trial. Now, who that somebody is, she still hasn't said anything, and hopefully doesn't. Or, I don't really care. So if you want to guess who could be the one who wanted her gone, I guess let me know in the comments. Another senseless, ruthless murder at the hands of Yep, there I said it. So as it stands, it's looking like Sakari's gonna get life in prison, and Chance, well, he might get the death penalty. Now, I will say, I know this is a horrible situation and all, but the fact that Sakari killed someone for snitching and then went and snitched on herself twice, I don't know. But either way, I guess it's mission accomplished, because Morena can no longer testify on Lil Play. I suppose that threat was eliminated, but in the sickest way possible. But if you haven't learned by now, when you're dealing with EBK, there is no such thing as morals.
Is that it?
Through all this beef, chaos, and nonsense, somehow EBK is still thriving. The music is blowing up like never before, and they're making real, I'm talking about real money. So naturally, with all this rap money coming in, most of EBK get the hell out of Stockton. Some go to Vegas, some go to LA, and some go to Phoenix, Arizona. But this does not mean that they're not active in the beef. They hate their ops so much that through all this, they're still willing to slide. But this time, they target the Asian boys. May 26, 2024. It's a Sunday morning in Tracy, California, a quiet little suburb between the Bay Area and Stockton. And on this morning, two prominent MB members are headed to the Bay Area from Stockton, and they stop in Tracy to get some gas. At 11:50, they pull into the Arco gas station, where Spaz hops out and pumps it up. Little does he know, some EBK members have been following them all the way from Stockton.
We heard about. Okay.
So while Spaz is at the pump not paying attention, the car pulls up next to them, the ops hop out, and bam! They absolutely light up the car with more than 67 shots.
A deadly shooting at this gas station just off Interstate 205.
What?
And pumps it up. Little does he know, some EBK members have been following them all the way from Stockton. So while Spaz is at the pump not paying attention, the car pulls up next to them, the ops hop out, and bam! They absolutely light up the car with more than 67 shots.
A deadly shooting at this gas station just off Interstate 205. Claiming the life of 23-year-old Alexander Gabriel Agon from Stockton and leaving another victim in the hospital.
With this massive loss, the Southside Alliance is down 4-1 on the score, which I'm sure you've heard EBK Jaaybo rap about. At this point, they're absolutely spanking the ops, and sadly, it does not end here. EBK is still on a mission, and that takes us to July 6, 2024. It's a Saturday afternoon, and Flyboy's rapper Trap Mob Los is at his girl's house in Sherwood's Manor. If you're unfamiliar, this is an upscale area tucked off at the very edge of Stockton, you know, away from the hoods. So usually being here means you're safe and out the way. But when you constantly diss Slo-Be, Jaaybo, and the rest of EBK,
catch me flying through your section with a fully loaded weapon, trying to send your ass to heaven. If you ever up that pole on me, bitch, you better down me.
You've got to get further away than that, because once the EBK members got word of his whereabouts, they decided to park just across the street. Come on, Los, come outside.
You know what they call Jaaybo? That's the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? That's the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying?
You've got to get further away than that, because once the EBK members got word of his whereabouts, they decided to park just across the street. Come on, Los, come outside. Come on. Hours go by, and he finally walks outside. This is when the EBK members hop out of the car and run him down. At this point, EBK is just spanking the South Side. I mean, 5 bodies with only 1 loss. I don't know what else to call that. Like, not only are they running the whole West Coast rap scene, they're also making their ops go extinct. How can you beat that? Of course, they're now feeling like they're on top of the world. They're untouchable, they're spanking everything, and they're making millions. And most importantly, they're back together again after being split up for years. Jock side and Jaaybo side are back together cool. And together, this is an unstoppable force.
But when you was down, there was hella rumors of EBK breaking up, who beef with who. Like, can you speak, can you elaborate that a little bit?
Bro, you gotta think about, bro, we cousins. It's just like, but in the day, bro, we cousins, we family. We was gonna sort that shit out regardless. It don't matter if it took 10 years.
Facts.
End of the day, it was never that serious. We was never gonna kill each other. So it don't matter, bro. Niggas done threw blims in songs. Niggas done probably said names in songs. Niggas done probably told some lies. You feel me, on some kid shit. But at the end of the day, niggas grown, so we buying passing all that shit, bro. We finna get this bag, bro.
In 2024, everything is going perfect for EBK. But, it doesn't last long. So here's what transpires. Firstly, Jaaybo does something that's, at minimum, very odd. He begins having relations with the fallen Slo-Be's baby mama. First of all, you're a famous rapper. You can't do no better than that. But that aside, if you love Slo-Be, why would you even think to do that? Well, when the public catches on to this, everyone is confused, looking at Jaaybo sideways, like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, do you have any loyalty or morals, or are you just a snake? So because of all these questions and all the commotion, Jaaybo decides to...
I remember this whole little situation. How y'all feel about that? I forgot Never mind, bro. I forgot what one of y'all was saying. It was a long time ago. I think it was on the stream or something. Somewhere. I forgot what you were saying.
Dress it.
Yeah, I seen you got a lot of flack. A lot of fans was coming at you and upset with you for allegedly sleeping with his girl or baby mom per se. And I'm only speaking on this because she spoke out on live.
What she said?
Nigga said what
I guess she said she could do whatever she want to do. If she would have died, he would have moved on that night.
Right. And what else she said? That's it?
I mean, it was a long video. I didn't watch the whole thing, but she pretty much was like, she gonna do what she wanna do. Mind y'all business. Y'all don't know us. Y'all don't know the whole situation. But the fans were kind of like, like, damn, like, where's the loyalty at? Like, all the girls you got, Jaaybo, and you want her? You sleeping with her? All the girls you got. So the fans was kind of like,
If Slo-Be was here, he wouldn't care. Not to disrespect her or nothing either, you feel me, because she cool. But she, you feel me, she live a different type of lifestyle. Like, that's not no regular, like, you feel me? Like, I understand if it was like, okay, you brother baby mama, like, that's really, like, that's really his biz. Like, that's cool, off limits. I wouldn't even look that way. But
yeah, that's what,
feel me, not to act like she didn't really...
I feel like y'all was basically telling me, basically what the fuck he's saying. Basically, yeah. I feel like y'all,
Fuck with Slo because she
shit along those lines.
But at the end of the day, that ain't no regular It's fair game. RP brother, I never disrespect my brother. That's my brother, dead homies.
So what do you guys think? Does his explanation make any sense, or is he bullshitting? Now, to be fair, no EBK members have spoken out about this or had anything negative to say. But still, on a human level, this has to look like disloyalty. At least what it does show is that Jaaybo does not care what anyone has to say or what they think of him. In fact, I think he even wants people to think that he's a piece of shit, because look at the stuff he posts. He even kicks a girl out of his car at a bus stop and laughs while she's crying and begging for somewhere to stay.
This is how you make the pack the bags up and leave, P. The make the cut, you feel me? I'm a real I made sure she left the same way she got here. The bus.
Yeah.
Feel me, P? Yeah. Make sure she got some money for some food and to get home. And for the Uber to get home. Free the bitch, bro. Don't beat the bitch, you feel me? It's unnecessary. Dark bitches bring dark days, like I said. You feel me? So this gonna leave on a dark night.
Nigga said on that dark night.
$4 to pee out.
I gave everything for you. I put everything to the side for you, and I don't want to.
Bro, you fired. You fired, bro.
But in reality, none of this is the reason EBK splits up again. In fact, just a couple months later, Jaaybo would get locked up and sent right back to prison. And while he's in prison, this is when everything falls apart. It's now August of 2024, and with all the war in Stockton, many and most of the EBK members have moved out to different cities. Pretty much Jaaybo and his homies moved to Vegas, Jock and his homies moved to LA, and then some people went up to Washington. Now, when it comes to LA, and especially Vegas, it is not safe to be famous and just moving around freely. Why? Because in both cities, you got dogs that are ready to rob you. Now for Jaaybo and his guys, they move heavy. I'm talking about every artillery weapon probably ever in a single car. Like, don't ask me how I know, but when Jaaybo's moving around, he's got at least 3 poles on him. On the other hand, Jock, well, he's more into putting on some bullshit outfits and getting high as fuck. Let's just say that he's not usually equipped to defend himself. I'll leave it at that. Now, in most places, you can do this freely, but when you're roaming around South Central LA, that is not a good idea. So after moving to LA, Jock locks in with the Bounty Hunter Bloods, specifically a rapper named AOF Nino. Basically, it's supposed to be a blood alliance, the Nightingale Bloods, the aired out Sacramento Bloods, and then the Bounty Hunter Bloods in LA. It makes sense, but you'll see why it's total bullshit. And that takes us to a random summer night in LA. EBK Young Jock and a Sacramento rapper named Air It Out Donnie are chilling in South Central LA, specifically the Rolling 60s neighborhood. For whatever dumb reason, they're outside at a gas station with their chains on, just chilling like nothing could ever happen to them. This is when out of nowhere, they're approached by 2 young Rolling 60s members. One of them walks right up to Jock and demands his chain, Debo style. No knife and no gun, just walks right up to him bare hands and says, "Gimme that shit." He then reaches and grabs Jock's chain and yanks it right off his chest. While this is happening, Aired Out Donnie is sprinting for his life, completely abandoning his friend. After doing this, the Rolling 60s members just calmly walk away. Honestly, this is very common.
For real? That's backdoor. No, they walked up, no gun, no nothing, and bro just ran on him and just let bro do him. Just no gun, no nothing, and he just ran on bro.
Sacramento Bloods and then the Bounty Hunter Bloods in LA. It makes sense, but you'll see why it's total bullshit. And that takes us to a random summer night in LA. EBK Young Jock and a Sacramento rapper named Air It Out Donnie are chilling in South Central LA, specifically the Rolling 60s neighborhood. For whatever dumb reason, they're outside at a gas station with their chains on, just chilling like nothing could ever happen to them. This is when out of nowhere, they're approached by 2 young Rolling 60s members. One of them walks right up to Jock and demands his chain, Debo style. No knife and no gun, just walks right up to him bare hands and says, "Gimme that shit." He then reaches and grabs Jock's chain and yanks it right off his chest. While this is happening, Aired Out Donnie is sprinting for his life, completely abandoning his friend. After doing this, the Rolling 60s members just calmly walk away. Honestly, this is very common in LA, so for them, they're not thinking anything of it. We just grabbed him for his chain, and we're off.
Is that supposed to be bro that was like just standing there watching the whole thing?
To the distance. We got our money, nobody needs to know about this, so that's that. When you're dealing with the Rolling 60s, this is just regular business. They're hush-hush, they're not going to tell anyone, they just want their money. So for Jock and Aired Out Donnie, it's really not that big of a deal, because nobody will ever know, and that would be the biggest problem. But little do they know, somebody was off in the corner recording this. And it wasn't the Rolling 60s. Instead, it was the rapper that they tapped in with, AOF Nino. That's just LA for you. But let's just say that the video goes viral, and this is bad news for EBK. And here are the important questions. A, why the hell was AOF Nino recording this? And did he set it up? B, why is Jock so soft? C, why the hell did Aired Out Donnie run away? And D, well, this isn't a question, but damn, this is embarrassing for Northern California. These 2 rappers talk so tough in songs just to get broke off by a dude with no weapon, and then your homie runs away? Fuck.
Nigga said fuck.
Now, of course, when you're in the streets, bad things do happen, but this is just an overall embarrassing look for EBK. You're supposed to be these street demons that nobody can touch and blah blah blah, and then your second biggest rapper is getting yanked like a little kid. Now of course, Mr. Macho EBK Jaaybo is not happy about this, but he's incarcerated, so what can he really do? However, his older brother Osama, the originator of EBK, he is pissed. Not only is he disappointed in Jock for making EBK look soft, but he's really disappointed in Air It Out Donnie, because why the hell would you leave your homie just to get robbed like that? Now mind you, at this point, EBK Osama has been X'd from the gang. Nobody fucks with him, nobody's talking to him, because they say that he told on Hari B. He lost his neighborhood, all of his friends, his family, everything. Now he's just straggling by himself, just living out in Sacramento. But still, regardless of all this, he is the creator of EBK, so whatever happens to EBK, in his mind, is disrespectful to him. So after the footage of Jock getting robbed comes out, instantly Osama wants to get revenge. Revenge on Aired Out Donnie. So just days after the Jock video is released, Osama allegedly heads to East Sacramento and robs 2 Aired Out members at gunpoint.
Bitch, give me that shit.
Now this is a big deal, and not because anyone knows about it. In fact, to this day, still, nobody knows about it. But instead because for Osama, this was crashing out. You robbed some dudes who ran on your homie, and that homie doesn't even fuck with you, and that whole gang don't fuck with you. So now Aired Out don't fuck with you, EBK don't fuck with you. So everybody just hates you. I mean, your own millionaire brother left you for dry because of some paperwork, so he's not gonna defend you either. At this point, Osama only has one friend left, an Oakland rapper named Dre West Oakland, who was kicked out of his own hood for snitching as well. So what I'm trying to say is that the situation is all bad for Osama. He's pretty much just digging himself an even deeper hole. And you'll see why in a second, but this marks the beginning of EBK's downfall. We're now 2 years into the beef with the whole South Side, and as you know, EBK spanked them 5-1. But in the midst of this war, everyone seemed to forget about their beef with the North, which kind of went on pause for a couple years. But in the streets of Stockton, the war with the North was starting to brew back up. Why?
James Gorman in his wood, but you're smoking your dad. James Gorman in his wood, but you're smoking your dad.
Well, that takes us back to January 5th, 2024. It's the 9-year anniversary of the tragic loss of Rari, who, of course, is Jaaybo's father. And if you can recall, when Jaaybo was just 11 years old, he told his father that he got robbed by the Northside Crips, so his dad pulled up to their hood, and sadly, that's where they shot him. Well, fast forward 9 years, and some EBK members still want revenge. That takes us to 1 p.m. It's an early Friday afternoon in North Stockton, and the Northside Crips are posted up in front of their store. Particularly, a rapper named 500 Wante is outside posted up and not paying attention. This is when an SUV full of EBK members pulls up and they all hop out. A chunky man in a mask runs straight up to Wante and unleashes.
They got right on there.
Wante is hit 6 times, but thankfully he survives after surgery. Despite the fact that Wante would survive, this pissed off the North, particularly for 2 reasons. One, of course, because EBK was reigniting the beef, but number 2, because Jaaybo wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. After this incident, Jaaybo would rap about giving Wante 6 shots in every single song. Bragging, and more bragging, so of course, the North wants revenge. However, at the moment, this isn't really possible, because all the EBK members are living out of town. Eventually, though, some of the members are bound to pop back up in Stockton. That takes us to April 28th, 2024. It's a late night in Stockton, and an EBK member named Mondo is on the north side of town to visit a girl. So Mondo's maneuvering low-key, or at least that's what he thinks. But in reality, somehow, the Northside Crips know his exact whereabouts, and at 1:34 in the morning, they catch him leaving the apartment. Now, although Mondo wasn't a big popular character, this was a very big loss for EBK, especially because it was the first one since the passing of Slo-Be. So again, another loss of an EBK member while EBK Jaaybo is locked up. So of course, when he receives the news from his jail cell, he's pissed. But before he even gets the chance to grieve, another loss is on the way. 24 hours later. It's a late night in the city of Sacramento, particularly in an area called The Pocket. This is a tucked-off, semi-suburban area where usually you can lay low. Well, this is where EBK Osama is now living. And after robbing 2 Aired Out members, trying to duck low in their city is probably not a good idea. 2:45 in the morning, Osama casually steps out of his apartment and walks towards his car. And boom, right there waiting is a masked up man. And before Osama can even whip out, the man draws down. 2 losses in less than 24 hours. But more importantly for Jaaybo, this absolutely crushes him. To the streets, he's lost his father, his uncle, and now his older brother. And despite the street politics and the fact that they were no longer talking because of the snitching allegations, at the end of the day, this is still your brother. The one who was there for you when your dad got killed, the one who got you in the studio and starting to rap, and not most importantly, but the one who started EBK. Can you imagine sitting in a jail cell and losing your older brother who you're not on good terms with? He started EBK just to end up with no friends, and then going out of his way to defend EBK and losing his life for it. And to make matters worse, his only friend left would go on Instagram and, for whatever reason, clown his loss. The streets are just a dirty game with no love and definitely no loyalty. Well, from here with back-to-back losses and Jaaybo in jail with no timetable on when he could be released, things are looking really downhill for EBK. But then in early 2025, somehow he gets released on bail and he goes on an absolute tear. Banger after banger after banger, completely catching the national wave. Collabs with major Chicago artists and even getting invited to go on the NBA YoungBoy tour. $1 million record deals, Maybachs, GLEs, watches,
Jaaybo was supposed to be going so crazy right now. That's what's so out of pocket. He's supposed to be going crazy right now. I ain't gonna lie.
chains. Life is just looking good for Jaaybo. But then, of course, he messes it all up per usual. He gets invited to be on the XXL freshman list, and on his way there, instead of flying, he decides to drive in a rental car and have it filled up with guns.
Y'all step up, folks. Step up. Don't worry for that, man.
Well, of course, being a felon, he is not allowed to be in possession of any weapons. Of course, his homie Baby Max doesn't take the charges for him, so now Jaaybo is looking at 30 years in prison. And I guess that's where the story ends. I hate that it ends this way, but I don't know if...
That's crazy. Right now, that was a W1 story. So he could have just... He didn't even have to drive. He could have just got on a plane and just... Alright, whatever. The point is, man, drop a like and drop a sub. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Drop some more videos like this in the comments. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. I'm going to see y'all niggas in the next one, bro.